So there are a lot of students in school, a lot of people in school, people from different races, from different walks of life. So you meet a lot of them. If you want to be unique and different from others, these 3 things are going to definitely help you. In school, where there are a lot of people, for you to stand out, you will need some tools. And here in this video, I'm going to give you the exact tools that you need to stand out and be unique as a student. Hey guys, welcome back once again. Last time, we discussed about the 3 skills that every student should learn. So today, in turn, we'll be discussing about the 3 things that every student should have to stand out and be unique. So I'm glad you made it back to this episode of 3 things that every student should have, should learn, should do. Yeah, let's jump right into it. Number 1, hobbies. A lot of people find it hard to be alone, even for a short period of time. They always want to be around other people, which is not an attitude I want you to own. Having hobbies makes you an independent person. If you look around, you realize that every now and then you come across people who are not independent themselves. And this time around, I am not talking about financial independence. I am talking about being independent as an individual. There are people who can't stay alone for just 20 minutes. They don't know how to enjoy the company of themselves. There are people that if they are left alone for just 10 minutes, they might fall into depression. Having hobbies can be a game changer for you if you are that type of person. Hold on, let me walk you through. Having hobbies in your life makes you very confident. They also empower you to enjoy the company of yourself, which is one of the gifts you will forever appreciate if you own. Being able to enjoy the company of yourself. Research tells us that as we grow older, we tend to have less and less friends, and we tend to spend more time with ourselves. And I know you are probably seeing something like that right now, especially if you are someone who has older siblings who have gone to college, or probably you yourself, you are in college presently. You will realize that you tend to spend less and less time with your siblings, with your family, and you tend to spend more time with yourself. And that is the basic truth. No matter how scary it is, as you grow older, whether you like it or not, you have to spend time with yourself. If you can learn it now, it will be a game changer for you. So having hobbies can help you learn to enjoy the company of yourself. How? Think about it. If you love playing the piano, because you love playing it, you will spare time in the day. Even if it is just 10 minutes, even if it is just 20 minutes, you will spare time every day or 3 times a week to practice playing piano. So whether you like it or not, that moment you are playing the piano, you are spending it with yourself, and gradually you start to become more self-aware. Yes, that is also one of the advantages of having a hobby in your life. Hobbies make you more self-conscious and more self-aware. You realize that the more time you spend with yourself is the more self-aware you are. You start to notice your weaknesses. You start to notice your strengths. You start to understand things better. You start to understand yourself better. And this is one of the things you'll forever be grateful for. Again, thanks for being part of this channel. And mind you, your hobbies can be anything. From singing, to playing with dolls, to watching the sun rise and set. Yes, your hobby can be anything. It can be spending time in nature, can be taking a walk, can even be reading. Just find something you love doing and make it an hobby. You appreciate me for this. It is also important to note that your hobbies can become passion, and your passion can become a job for you. If you appreciate the value that you get from this video, please kindly hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below. It will help this video to get more views and reach more people. This is a way you can help me. Thanks. I love you, family. Number 2, learn something of interest. Life gets boring easily if you are not learning something new. If you really want to experience the best, you have to go beyond doing repetitive tasks every day. And when I say repetitive tasks, I'm talking about those things you do on a day-to-day basis, e.g. brushing, waking up, sleeping, eating. Those are basic tasks you do every day. Let your life be more than repetitive tasks. Do not just occupy your days, weeks, and months with repetitive tasks. My friend, please include new things into your schedule. If not, your life will be too boring. And when we're talking about learning something new, I can't encourage you enough to learn something of interest. Because if you learn something that is interesting to you, something that attracts you, something that when you hear, you are like, oh wow, interested, it will be easier for you to learn it because you are already interested. Do not just go and pick a boring topic or a boring skill to learn just because you want to make money or whatever. Find something of interest, learn it, and learn it well. There is no excuse for you not to learn anything. Go online and learn something. There are a lot of free resources. There are search engines like Google and YouTube. Also, there is AI. So you have a lot of free options to satisfy your interests. What you are going to learn does not have to be because you want to make money. It can be something that just interests you. It can be as simple as learning a new language. This reminds me of when I was learning French. Yes, you heard me right. When I was learning French. Au revoir. Cette fille. What is that? So when I was learning French, I went online, I went on YouTube and Google, and I started researching guides and videos, which I watched. And then I improved. First of all, I learned A to Z in French. I learned some pronouns, and then I learned some adjectives. I learned a couple of things actually. And yes, if you are wondering, can I speak French fluently now? The answer is no. Yes, you heard me right. The question is, do I regret learning it then? No. Actually, I'm very happy that I took out of my time to learn something then, even though I did not eventually learn it finish. The truth is, even if I didn't drop by to learn a new language then, I would still have wasted that time. The time will still pass anyway. So it was better that I put it to something, even if I did not learn it completely. In the future, if I want to go back to learn French, it will be easier for me than for the average person because my tongue is a bit familiar with the French accent better than someone who has never spoken French in his entire life. So the thing is, just go ahead and learn something of interest to you, something that interests you. Learn it at your pace. You don't have to force yourself. Learn it and you'll thank me later. And the third one is good study techniques. This one is extremely important and crucial. A lot of students are not studying effectively. Yes, they are not studying effectively. They are not maximizing the results they are getting from their efforts. And this is because they are using bad study techniques. In fact, some of them do not have a study technique. This must not be the case for you. Because you are a subscriber of this channel, I will tell you, to excel and stand out as a student, you need good study techniques. And speaking of good study techniques, I made a video a particular time about 2 study techniques I've used before. I will leave a link up here, so click on it and watch that video. Right now, I'm going to give you a few tips I use when I'm reading, just to help you as a student and help your grades. Very simple. So there are 3 things I make sure I include whenever I'm studying. Number 1 is active recall. So active recall is a simple concept that explains the fact that we don't learn something by accumulating information into our brain, but instead we store it and register it by bringing it out of our brain. So what it means is that if you study something, do not just hope that it is sitting there in your brain. Instead, try to ask yourself questions and see if what you learned is really there or if it is not there. That is what active recall is saying. Try to recall information to see if what you learned is actually in your brain or not. And do it at time intervals. If you try to recall it today, you can try to recall it tomorrow. Try to recall it 3 days after, 1 week after, 2 weeks after. So that's it. And number 2 tip I use when studying is called spaced learning. And this is self-explanatory. So it means that I should not study in concentration. What do I mean? So research tells us that instead of studying 10 hours a day, studying 1 hour for the next 10 days is better than studying 10 hours in a day. So it is simply called spaced learning. So what it means is that if I read a course today, I can give it about 2 days interval before I read it again. I can give it 1 week interval before I return to it. So this way, as I'm spacing it, I'm making my brain understand that I really value and need this information. And in no time, my brain will store it in the long-term memory. And the last thing I love to do whenever I'm studying is active learning. So I made a video about active learning and I'll put it up here, but I will try to give you a summary of what active learning is. So active learning is simply trying to engage with whatever you are learning. So whenever you want to study, instead of just picking up your book and consuming loads of information, try to engage your thoughts actively with what you are studying. For example, if I'm reading about the Second World War, instead of just trying to consume information about what happened in that era, after reading some of those things in that book, I can sit down and start to imagine how the war went. As I'm reading lines after lines, I will start to imagine how quarrelsome and how bitter that battle was. So this is a better way to learn, engaging your thoughts. Also, under active learning, we have teaching someone or teaching yourself. Whenever you read something, try to explain to someone else or try to explain to yourself. That way, it will register in your brain better. Also, engaging in group discussions will also help you. So that is all about active learning. So these 3 things, I love to employ it whenever I'm reading. Active recall, spaced learning, and active learning. These 3 things, together with that video that I mentioned earlier, and also some of those shorts that I've done on my channel, if you watch those videos all together, you will become an absolute speed learning monster. So guys, the 3 things that every student needs to stand out in 2024 and become an A-grade student. Number 1, hobbies, which makes you a confident and independent person. Number 2, learn something of interest, which empower you with a skill, which can even become a job for you in the future. And number 3, good study techniques, which makes you have superb grades. So with these 3 things, I believe that any student can level up their game and become the student that everyone admires. This is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Until then, guys, stay motivated and remember, Michael cares. So what I want you to do is to leave a comment below about what you learned in this video or any other thing you think I did not mention in this video. Also like this video and share it to others as we empower people all around the world. Thanks for watching once again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.